Hello guys, this is Asphyxia from R4P3 Network. I wanted to make a quick video showcasing how hacking really works, more the art and science of the cyber act of hacking. I want to cover this from all angles and be as thorough as possible, but also allow individuals just getting into the art and science of cyber security, hacking, whatever you want to call it. A chance to learn. I really want this to be a full web series that introduces you to the basics and leads all the way up on into more advanced things and really getting into the deep parts of, for example, reverse engineering or web app security and so on. So if you have any interest in this, please go ahead and watch this video. But most importantly, if you would be interested in helping me teach, I am looking for individuals that would like to teach how hacking works, what it is. And I think that this is a really fun field to get into, and it could totally be so much more open, but there's just not the content there providing such. So here, let's go ahead and get started right away. I want to first define what hacking means while I'm talking about it here. And to me, right here, right now, hacking is going to mean breaking into systems. So like a computer, maybe that could be someone else's computer, but please keep ethics in mind. It's not okay. It is actually very illegal to break into someone else's system without their permission or consent, I should say. So you need to understand the risks, of course, the ethics. And so right now, though, hacking is just breaking into a system by finding a security issue or hole and then abusing that. Okay, so ultimately, we're looking for a security vulnerability, which is just a problem or issue with security, and then we're going to use a tool, or we're going to use that vulnerability to our advantage to exploit it, okay, to break the security. So we're finding a weakness, that's a vulnerability in security, and then we're going to punch through it, okay, that's using an exploit. Now, obviously, this video is for educational and informational purposes strictly. I don't want anybody taking any information from this and future videos regarding this and using it for wrong things, but I definitely want to give a public and open scope, or not scope, just ideas or thoughts. So let's go ahead and get skidding here. Keep your balance. Think of security as, a vagina. Okay, so servers and systems, or servers/systems, they are girls. Can you get it in? You need to have a game, absolutely. So it's kind of funny to think of security as a vagina, but that's really how I think of it. Okay, how tight can we make it? How tight can we get this security? I mean, can we get it tighter than the tightest? And that's really, it's a little bit impractical to have the tightest vagina in the world, okay? Because like, how are you going to figure that out? It's really difficult, but you can have a much tighter one than anyone else, okay? Just don't get fucked, right? And also be safe, be smart. So we can do this. We can certainly have a very tight security vagina, and that means that there's a less, less ability for the bigger attacks or big things to get in, right? So there's less chance of you getting broken into if it's too tight, too small. And I know it's a really weird analogy, and I'm so sorry, guys, if that's disturbing or weird to you, but that's just how I see it, and it seems to just make things a lot simpler when I think of a server as like a girl. Like, hey, that server, that's my girlfriend, don't fuck with it. Okay, I'm gonna lock that chick down, putting a ring on it. All right, I'd like to put a ring on my server. I'm marrying the server. Don't fuck, so weird, yeah, sure, but that's just a one way to look at it. Penetration testing is the act of testing security for weakness, and there are certainly tools that can help you with testing the security of systems, And Kali Linux is actually an entire Linux-based OS. It's an operating system that comes with a bunch of pen testing tools. We're going to go ahead and just cover a few of these. I'm not going to go into any detail on them. This is going to be into the future. I don't want to overwhelm you with information, but just to throw out some names for you and to name a few tools and a few categories. There's tools that cover web applications like Burp Suite, Websploit. There's vulnerability analysis tools that can, for example, scan very advanced and look at what ports services are running, fingerprint. You've got Nmap, SQL map, maybe they also pronounce it SQL map, information gathering. You've got Wireshark. What Wireshark is able to pick up a whole bunch of network traffic. You could potentially map some things out there. There's so much that you could do with Wireshark. And then you've also got, I think it's Multego or Multigo. I don't know. I think it's Multego. But don't quote me on that. I butcher names all the time. But I really want to get across to you that tools are very powerful, and in the realm of security, tools are basically weapons. You have all sorts of different tools for the job. Each tool is a different type of weapon, right? So, I mean, if you're shooting someone that's like a mile away, you don't want to use a pistol, right? You would use a sniper rifle. If you're shooting someone that's right down the hallway, well, you could use a small little BB gun, right? But that's pretty stupid. I mean, a BB gun's not going to do much. Same with an airsoft gun, and that's sort of what I'm trying to get at. And I'm not promoting terrorism, okay? I hope that you guys don't think that I am. I'm just giving you different analogies to see things in a more real world way, and then cross that over into cyber digital, right? So like security is different all over the place, and it's going to require different tools to break into different things, right? So there's, for example, a difference between getting a brick wall down and then picking a lock into a door and also blowing up a tank, right? So again, I know that sounds totally terroristic. I swear to God, I'm not a terrorist. If you want to investigate me, go for it. I don't care. But here's the deal, right? You're obviously not going to use a lockpick to take an entire tank down, right? You're also probably not going to stick a lockpick to break a brick wall down. But if you put a lockpick into a door and you know how to use it, right? So that's an important part, is knowing how to use the tool, knowing the tool exists. Well, when you do both of those things there and you unlock the door, now you get inside. Well, what if inside of that door that you lockpicked, there is like something that you need that gains you information to get to the brick wall, or there's blueprints, there's like a sheet there with the blueprints of the brick wall, and now it shows you where the weak spots are. And so by picking a lock to get in, you've escalated access, and now you've got information that otherwise you would not have that allows you to take the brick wall out easier. And same thing with the tank, right? And I know, again, that this sounds totally war, and I'm really not trying to paint a weird, crazy picture of war to you. I'm just trying to give you analogies to think of how this all kind of can cross over into cyber warfare, because a lot of people don't know what cyber warfare is, and I think it's important to cross over some real-world examples of what we all have a slight idea on, and then tie that in with computers. So I'm going to just give you some of the steps for entry into a system according to CEH. That's Certified Ethical Hacker. That is a certification if you're interested, but there are 5 main phases, and that can be summarized in an acronym that I threw up real quick: RSGMC. RSGMC is recon, scan, gain, maintain, cover. This means you need to gather info on your target. You need to scan your target to look for areas where you could break into a system or systems. And then think of this kind of like you're planning to break into a building, right? Like, let's say you're planning to break into your own house, and it's important to think about this too, because there could be someone else that could maybe want to break into your house, but literally go out to your front yard, go onto your front lawn, look at your house and be like, hey, I want to break into my own house. And think about different ways you could break into your own house. You're probably not going to sleep at night. It's scary how easy it would be to break into your house. But anyways, so you need to think, like, where are the windows? Are there cameras? Can the cameras be taken out? Can we get around to the sides of the cameras without being seen by any of the cameras and cut those? Doors, where are the doors? If we go in the back door, is it less obvious that we're getting in? Or maybe there's completely a back door to the building, and so the person goes around the whole back of the whole building, and it's nighttime. There's no lights there. The driveway is empty. There's mail piled up. And I mean, now it literally seems like, hey, they could just go around to the back of the building and get in with like a lockpick. No one would ever see them, right? So that's crazy. But apply this analogy to computer systems, right? It's the same exact thing almost. It's crossing that info over into the cyber or digital world. So in the cyber world, we're looking more for, okay, what services do we have running? Do they have ports open? Versions? Is RDP open, for example? Does SQL take remote connections? Anyways, once you've got things scanned, you may, if you know how and you have the right tools for the job, you may be gaining access to the system. Now, in this case, obviously, like I said, I'm not promoting, I don't accept, I'm not condoning you to go out and start getting access to systems. Do not do that. This video is for educational, informational purposes strictly. But by exploiting security vulnerabilities, or you could say vulns for short, you'd basically be able to gain access. And maintaining access, that could mean installing a backdoor. So you've got a remote connection that's open, or maybe you are reverse connecting, but regardless, you're getting a backdoor there, so that way you can control the server at a later time, and hopefully, of course, with escalated privileges, preferably root or running at the system level. Windows, there's a lot of different things, but make sure definitely, though, of course, if you're getting access into a system, you need your IP address wiped. You need the logs cleaned out from ever showing your information. It should look like you never even stepped in, because like fingerprints or DNA at a crime scene, footprints, whatever you want to say, that's the same thing that you're dealing with here at the cyber digital world. When you get into a system, you basically dropped a sweat drop on the counter, and or maybe you cut yourself a little bit and you got some of your own blood in someone's house. And that's the same thing here. Okay, you need to wipe your IP address, because if you don't wipe your IP address, you left your own DNA at the murder scene, right? And I know that sounds pretty gruesome, and of course that's weird, but just another analogy. You don't want to go murder someone and like have your blood get all over the place there too, because obviously then your DNA is there, and especially you don't want to be leaving fingerprints or footprints all over the place and get your shoes, all that stuff. So you really need to be hiding your IP ahead of time, even too, just in case you cannot wipe those IP logs, for example. And using a VPN, that's a great way to mask your IP address, but I'll cover all this in greater detail at a later time, but I'm just kind of going to wrap things up right here. This is just a real basic intro. I want to start off everybody so we can get on the same page, get that hacker mentality set, or at least starting. H102, that's going to be coming soon. Stay tuned. Definitely please like this video. I want to know that you want these quick and simple videos on hacking. Also subscribe. I would love for you to show love and support by subscribing to my channel. Click the red button below if you're signed into a YouTube account. Leave a comment. Let me know what interests you, and also feel free to ask questions. I love questions. Thanks for watching.